please make some noise for the cast of Chainsaw Man. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here's how we're going to get started. Two things. One, just like they said, we can sit up here and have a long conversation about a million different things, but we get to choose the topic. Or, hear me out, here's an alternative. There is a microphone right there. And you could line up and ask us questions about a very obscure Japanese animation that nobody has obviously ever heard of that premiered last year.
What is your favorite part of Chainsaw Man and why?
What is your favorite
Favorite moments, I mean.
Oh, what is your favorite moment in Chainsaw Man, and why was that your favorite moment?
Has everyone here at least seen the first season?
Hell yeah.
Okay, so, because we don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah.
So we'll talk within the confines of the first season.
Yes.
For me, honestly, I mean, there's so many because we all love every bit of it. Mappa absolutely knocked it out of the park, and getting to work with these amazing humans and the rest of the crew has been like a fever dream. But a personal just kind of moment that I will never really forget was just recording the first episode, because it was this like dawning on myself that the realization it was actually happening and they were really letting me do it. And it was spending so much time with just me and Mike, our director, going through that episode, really defining Denji. And it was also getting to see the animation before a lot of you guys were getting to see it, you know, and being such a super fan, it was such a like emotional thing for me to go through, to see them just nailing it and being so excited to get to be a part of telling it. And then changing into Chainsaw Man for the first time, it was so cathartic, and it felt so good to just open up like that. So definitely just recording the first episode for me.
Nice, isn't it?
All right, Suzie or Sarah?
I will never forget watching the first episode at New York Comic Con. It was incredibly special. Like, I'd never experienced anything like that before, where I can just share my reaction with the rest of the cast and everybody else in that stadium, which was so full. And like, I was clutching Sarah the entire time when like Pochita was being stabbed, and I was like, no!
When they both go, bleh.
Yeah.
We were both like literally like squeaking.
I know.
I was like,
like,
no! And whenever Pochita was on screen, we were both like shaking each other.
Yeah. Yeah, so I will never forget that moment.
I remember when we did the panel, it was for a room of 5,000 plus people, I think. And
I was sitting in the back of that room.
That's amazing.
Oh, were you?
That's amazing.
Yes.
I
I
didn't
spy
know
on
you
you
back
guys.
then.
Yeah,
I'm not a
all the
stalker.
time. He's everywhere. Makima is watching.
Tom is listening.
You're
Yeah,
an
exactly,
artist
yeah.
supply.
But I remember like we did the panel part of it, and like I felt totally fine, totally like we just had fun, it was comfortable. And then the second they had us sit down to watch the episode, my whole body started shaking and I couldn't stop shaking. So that was definitely memorable.
I have one question, and it is kind of to settle a debate in the Chainsaw Man community. It's no spoilers. Do we prefer the more high-pitched, effeminate, nice voice Pochita that we got, or are we sad that we didn't get Keith David cast?
I was really hoping that they were going to go with Gilbert Gottfried, personally.
Live your best life, Denji.
You guys should look up.
Don't let your dreams be just dreams. I want to see them.
There is.
I want to see you exist in your best life.
It's solid. There's an amazing actor named Barrett Letty who actually just recently started taking over for some of Gilbert's roles after he passed. And when the first episode came out, he just at his house just for fun overdubbed the Pochita scene as Gilbert.
That is hilarious.
And it's something else. So I don't know where it is on the internet, but it's out there somewhere.
I was wondering if the three of you keep up with the manga each week.
I obsessively do. I am.
Me too.
I'm one of those people who I wake up like usually an hour before the chapter drops, and I'm just like, "You're not ready yet." So I am absolutely obsessed. I won't spoil for those who are not up to date, but I will say in the vaguest of terms, I absolutely adore what Fujimoto's doing with it. And if anybody was at my panel yesterday, you'll loosely hear me say the same thing, because I think the way that he starts off and has continued to work with part 2, yeah.
You joked, but it's been
I
you
love
using it
these
most of
things
this.
now. I just think it speaks to how confident he is as a storyteller to make the bold choices that he continues to make without it being for shock value. It's him just being like, this is the story I'm telling. And if you're on board, you're on board. And if you decide you're not anymore, that's cool too. But like, I'm not going to pander and I'm not going to play games. Like, this is what's up. And I think it's so refreshing.
Susie?
Yeah, I kept up all the way till the end of part 1, not really part 2, but I've seen plenty of art of all the new characters that show up, and they look really sick and dope. So I'm very excited to get into it.
Sarah?
I've only read the physical copies because I like physical copies.
That's fair. Very fair.
I like
Very
to
valid.
touch them, to feel the sliding page.
There's
The
a very
smell of it.
specific smell to a manga. There is such a particular smell to that paper. Yeah.
My question is for Sarah. Power has a very interesting way of talking. I would say it's Shakespeare adjacent, and as someone who has struggled with Shakespeare in school, I was wondering if there are any lines that like tripped you up or you had trouble with remembering or delivering right?
I've never said Excelsior before, so that was fun. That one did. Didn't know about it. Probably that. Other than that, everything else kind of seemed normal.
Was there any lines or any scenes you guys got to where you just looked at it like, they want me to say what?
Well, I had read the manga multiple times over before the show was even announced. I was already a huge nerd for it. So while I knew what I was going in for week to week, our writer for the English adaptation, Jessica, is an absolute legend. And she came up with a couple of one-liners that are just unique to the show. So when I walked in, let's say, for episode 12, and I see the line, "You put the dick in predictable," talking
Good night,
about
everybody.
Shakespeare, that is Shakespeare. So I walked in and was like, I get to say this? Like, that for sure.
Incredible.
I also read the manga, so I knew what I was getting into, but I guess nothing really could have prepared me for the toilet scene. But I guess, like, I don't know, I was still embarrassed either way, but I think that was a good thing because...
You were embarrassed. I had to breathe through my hands like Mike's like,
you're
we need it to
embarrassed. I
sound
had to
even more, yeah. I was like, okay.
But like in that scene, she pretends like she's trying to act all cocky and confident about it. Like she's like, yeah, but then she's actually like kind of embarrassed. Like she only let him touch her 3 times.
I love the turn though at the end when she's like, well, all good, buddy, right? And he's like, what?
She was starting to be like, ooh, that's oh, now wait a minute. Ah! Get out of here. I broke it.
She broke it without even letting it leave the bottom. That's
Killing it
true power move.
once was something. Twice in one panel is amazing.
This is how she got the role.
Got it. All right, Susie.
I guess speaking of spicy scenes, it was that scene where she gets like up close and personal with Denji. I was like, because there was only like dudes in the room. I was like, don't make this awkward. I'm just gonna do it. And so they just let me do it, and it was like 1 take for each line, and we just.
They were like, we gotta get out of here.
They're like, get me out of here.
Yeah, and
like,
she
"Don't look at
recorded.
me."
She recorded her lines for that scene before I did, so I had a real easy time doing
So
that.
you could react. You're like,
I'm sorry, this scene where the moment where he screams after he gets touched. I'm like, ah! I laughed so hard.
I'm just happy that scene continues to break the internet.
oh yeah. You got that
Ladies
dog
and
in
gentlemen,
you.
the cast of Chainsaw Man.
Thank you guys so much.